And welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on this Monday, November 28th. I'm your host for today's program, Paul DeMain. Many of the stories right here can also be found at our website at IndianCountryNews.com. And here are some of the news stories from the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. A federal judge has ruled the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa no longer has to give the city of Duluth, Minnesota, a cut of its casino profits. But U.S. District Court Judge Susan Nelson says the band must pay the city money it has withheld since the dispute over casino revenues began in 2009. The Fond du Lac Band estimates it could amount to $14 million. The band has been sending the city 19% of its video game profits since it opened its Duluth casino, Fond Duluth, in 1986. The loss of the annual $6 million payout has city leaders concerned about infrastructure needs. City Councilor Todd Fedora tells the Duluth News-Tribune it could throw Duluth streets into major jeopardy without the revenue. A former Nez Perce tribal employee has been convicted of using a government-issued credit card to make more than $20,000 in illegal purchases. The U.S. Attorney's Office says a federal jury issued a verdict last week in the case of 33-year-old Douglas R. Bisbee following a 4-day trial in Coeur d'Alene. Bisbee was responsible for enforcing tribal hunting and fishing laws while working for the conservation program there. He was assigned a vehicle and a credit card for fuel and repairs from 2004 to earlier this year. But charges during that period included unauthorized items such as fuel for Bisbee's personal vehicle. Prosecutors say he also bought fuel for his friends and relatives. Bisbee faces up to the possibility of 10 years in prison. The hay loss in northwest New Mexico are nearly bare, and the Navajo agricultural products industry is warning it could actually run out of alfalfa hay soon. NAPI is a major supplier in San Juan County. The Daily Times reports the crucial livestock feed has been in short supply this year because of the drought. The massive Navajo Nation farm sells hay on contract to dairy farms and other customers and to the public from its storage facility south of Farmington and a sales office at Shanto, Arizona. Prices for alfalfa have climbed throughout the Southwest. Hay is tough to come by and increasingly expensive throughout the region. Demand from ranchers in Texas and southern New Mexico, where drought is devastating agricultural, is rippling throughout the feed market. Fundraising for the Crazy Horse Memorial in South Dakota has hit the $5 million goal set by a philanthropist who agreed to match the donations to speed progress on the Mammoth Mountain carving, officials say. Work on the project has been ongoing since 1948. While Crazy Horse's face had been peering across the southern Black Hills since 1998, retired South Dakota banker T. Denny Sanford said he wanted to see work on the famed Oglala Lakota leader's horse completed in his lifetime. Sanford pledged the $5 million match in the year 2007. The memorial hit the fundraising mark on October 21st, the anniversary of sculptor Korzak Zilikowski's 1982 death, with a $170,000 donation from San Diego investment consultant Robert Woltman, according to memorial spokesman Pat Dobbs. The memorial has not been without its contingent of Native supporters and detractors who say Crazy Horse should not be memorialized on the mountain carving. 8 Native Americans filed a lawsuit this month against the Washington Department of Social and Health Services, claiming the agency placed them in a mission boarding school where they say they were sexually abused by a Jesuit priest decades ago. The plaintiffs are now adults in their 50s and 60s living in Washington and Montana. They were wards of the state when the abuse occurred, and officials failed to ensure their safety, says their attorney, Blaine Tamaki. The complaint centers on allegations against the Reverend John Morse at St. Mary's Mission School in Omak. Morse has been the subject of multiple sex abuse claims, but has denied the allegations. Morse was never charged with the crime, Tamaki said, because the criminal statute of limitations had expired. Morris now lives in Spokane, Washington. The lawsuit alleges the state approved Morris as the foster parent for 5 of the plaintiffs, but failed to investigate whether he or St. Mary's was a proper placement for the children. The suit also claims the state was notified of abuse at the school, alleged to have occurred from the late 1950s to the early 1970s, but failed to investigate the charges. President Barack Obama will address Native American leaders December 2nd as they gather for a White House-sponsored Tribal Nations conference at the Department of Interior. It will be Obama's 3rd conference with American Indians since the president first met with the tribal leaders in November of 2009. The White House says Obama has made a commitment to strengthen government relations with American Indians and tribes. The conference will give leaders of the 565 federally recognized tribes an opportunity to interact directly with Obama and top administration officials. The 2009 event was the first meeting of its kind in over 15 years. The Alaska Native Regional Corporation for Interior Alaska will make a $1 million contribution in support of a health center. Officials of Doyon Ltd. announced recently they will make a presentation to the Tanana Chiefs Conference for construction of the new Chief Andrew Isaac Health Care Center there in Fairbanks. The company's board says the donation is an investment that will benefit Doyon shareholders in the entire Alaska Native community. The $72 million health center is scheduled to open in early 2013 with expanded facilities under one roof. Doyon has 18,300 shareholders. Tanana Chiefs Conference is the traditional tribal consortium of 42 interior Alaska villages. And that's going to be another roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. We want to say Wawanin for joining us and come back again soon.